Take a look.
Firefighters save lives, and they're critical to the safety of every community. IAFF members are ready to respond to
have gotten through that storm.
Major disasters in our city, and our firefighters have often been not just the first responders, but consistent responders through the recovery.
Firefighters are the best partners a mayor could have, working collaboratively and innovatively to solve problems, gain federal grants for staff and equipment, and improve public safety in every possible way.
At the center of that relationship is the collective bargaining process and the way that we have been able to use collective bargaining to make sure that firefighters are getting the proper safety equipment and health and welfare benefits, the protections that they need for their families.
The IAFF provides our members with the latest data-driven tools to help public officials innovate and find solutions that advance public safety, such as working with NIST to put science behind the critical importance of crew size and resource deployment. And in cooperation with IPSDI, we've developed the N4s and Fire Cares programs, which allow you to showcase the value of a high public safety grade.
Our fire department is very data-driven. They're extremely innovative. They took the lead on creating their own departmental strategic plan. They have very clear goals. They're always looking at metrics.
Not only did we improve our response times, we exceeded expectations. And so now it's really been amazing to see the transformation because of the right investments.
Our fire department and our fire union have supported and worked with the city in recent years on major initiatives that might not even have to do with fire response.
And firefighters are pillars of our communities in more ways than one. Simply put, firefighters are the most valuable asset any mayor can have.
Our department is one of the best in the country, and I'm just really proud of the work that they continue to do to not only save lives, but give back to the community that they serve.
We want our firefighters to be the best trained, the best equipped in the nation.
I just welcome every single mayor to the Fire Ops program. I think it's something that shows you up close and personal. You feel the heat, you smell the smoke. You know what it's like for a firefighter to go into a burning structure. And I think every mayor should know that.
It's obviously really important to know what they're thinking and seeing and feeling and adjusting to the equipment and the breathing, but it was great.
It's a game changer. I want those firefighters there. I want them to have good equipment that is reliable. I want to make sure that they have every tool possible to be safe.
Our fire department, Culver City Fire Department, is really data driven, and they're really good at analyzing the numbers in order to anticipate the need.
The right number of staffing, the right equipment in place, more trucks, more stations, whatever it is that we need so that we can make sure that our people are safe.
As we grow and we add stations and we add firefighting personnel, we have to make sure that we are able to attract good talent and, equally important, retain our quality firefighters now.
Public safety is 60% of the El Paso budget.
It's our number one priority. We're doing all we can do to make sure that they are fully equipped, fully staffed, and taking care of everything they need.
I've always viewed the relationship between the elected officials, specifically the mayor and our fire department and our fire union, as one of collaboration and transparency. And I think if we both have the same information about budgets and revenue methods, that most reasonable people come to similar conclusions. And you better have really good relationships.
That's where I start with caring about my employees, their working conditions, their salaries, their pensions.
We know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people in my city alone who today are alive because firefighting and the firefighting profession has kept up with advances, always getting better, always finding ways to save lives.
They're not going to make $1 million, but they do more than $1 million worth of work.
I think if you're an effective mayor, you need to be right there as a partner, side by side, making sure they get the support they need, including when we go into collective bargaining. No, as a mayor, you got to be a partner with your firefighters, or you should resign and go find another job.
The International Association of Firefighters and America's Mayors, partners in innovation and problem solving.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our 40th Annual City Livability Awards Luncheon. Each year, the City Livability Awards honors mayors for their exemplary leadership and their commitment in enhancing the quality of life for all in American cities. These award-winning programs represent some of the creative and dynamic programs that are transforming cities. For more than 30 years, Waste Management Incorporated has sponsored this much-appreciated program because of the high value Waste Management places on helping our communities be stronger, safer, better places. Let's hear from two past award recipients about what winning a City Livability Award has meant for their cities.
Winning the Livability Award really means a lot to Broken Arrow. We've gotten a lot of attention nationally for what we've done, and we're continuing to move forward, creating more jobs. We've got more going on in the Rose District. Bigger cities and smaller cities are wanting to come and see what we've done and how we've done this. So there's a lot of really positive things that have happened.
When you get recognized on a national level for anything you do in the city, it helps a program and it helps us expand that program. The young people were excited in the city, but not only were they had an opportunity to invest taxpayers' dollars into programming, they also were recognized for it, and I think that had a big impact. I want to congratulate the Conference of Mayors and Waste Management on 40 great years of this great award.
We're extremely grateful for the support of Waste Management, which makes our City Livability program possible. I'm very pleased at this time to introduce Susan Moulton with Waste Management Incorporated, who's going to announce the 2019 City Livability Award winners. Susan, we welcome you to the 87th Annual Conference of Mayors, and thank you again for your support of this program. So as we bring Susan up, let's get a good shh. Awesome. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mayor Benjamin. You've done a tremendous job leading the conference and, of course, leading your city, which we have the privilege of serving. Waste Management and the Conference of Mayors have had a long partnership, and we wish both you and Mayor Barnett the best of luck in leading the Conference of Mayors. Also, thank you, Mayor Caldwell, for hosting us in this beautiful city of yours. Tom Cochran, with your day-to-day leadership of the Conference of Mayors, CEO and Executive Director, we know this conference would not be made possible without you, so I salute you too. Waste Management is thrilled to be associated with these awards that recognize worthy cities that improve the quality of life in our cities. We know that many of you have sustainability, recycling, and waste diversion goals, and we stand ready to help you achieve these objectives. Let's move on to the awards. On your table, you'll see a City Livability's Award recipient brochure with the descriptions of the 2019 mayors. There are 8 mayors who have been recognized for Outstanding Achievement Awards in each of the large and small city categories. Please look to the screens above. Here are the 2019 Outstanding Achievement cities below 100,000 population. Before I announce the first place winner for small cities, let's recognize each of these other award-winning mayors by giving them a round of applause. And the winner of the first place for small cities is Mayor Carlos Mendez Martinez of Aguadilla for the Penalto Initiative.
Cerro Cabrera. Ha sido una comunidad preciosa. Siempre nos han tenido marginados.
This neighborhood was segregated from the rest of the municipality since they had a reputation. People didn't want to come because they were scared of it.
Y al venir el proyecto, mucho ha cambiado.
Pintalto is our art project. The project painted houses, murals to develop an area so we can improve the area for the residents.
We said, why don't we paint the houses? Why don't we use 10 colors, 15 colors, 20 colors? And then we get the community together. People come here, they can walk around with no worry whatsoever. And now there's businesses right here. We created jobs. You can buy a Coke right here, some people sell this, sell that, and they can make a living.
Everybody was excited. The government, the businessmen and women, the community, the residents. It was like magic.
La comunidad se unió. Todos trabajamos, todos limpiamos para que todo se vea bonito cuando vengan los visitantes. Y desde que está Pintalto, eso ha sido lo más grande del mundo, maravilloso para nosotros. Yo me siento que estamos importantes, ya no estamos marginados y estamos en el olvido.
The city didn't do this. The community did it with the city. They believe in themselves, they feel much better today. Now the whole community is together. Thank you to my brothers in the Conference of Mayors. This prize, it proved that it doesn't matter how much money a city has. The job of a mayor is to listen to people, to improve the quality of life.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Aguadilla Mayor Carlos Mendez Martinez.
Good afternoon. On behalf of our Mayor Carlos Mendez Martinez, we proudly receive this award and take a moment to thank architect Samuel Gonzalez for approaching us with the idea and let us work together to create this amazing project. Also to our volunteers, artists, and our community advisor, Attorney Janitzia Irizarry, for the long hours of work and all the help to be able to create this project. As our mayors always says, the dreams are the seeds to our realities. Winning this award is a proof of this. We work each day to promote and create a better, livable city for our residents. We look forward to continue to develop more better practice projects that help our community and to keep participating in this wonderful program. We thank the judges for seeing and understanding the project as we in Aguadilla saw it and lived it. And last but not least, we would like to thank Tom Cochran, CEO of U.S. Conference, Jim Fish, President and CEO of Waste Management, and the present mayors. Thank you, and visit Aguadilla soon.
And now, we move to the large city category, that is cities with populations of 100,000 and greater. First, here are the 4 large city mayors who received an Outstanding Achievement Award. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. And the winner of the large city first place City Livability Award is Plano Mayor Harry LaRoselier for the Plano Financial Literacy Program.
I see my role as mayor is to provide what I call the Plano Promise. Our city will protect you, our schools will educate you, and our community will nurture you. To nurture a family, we have to give them the skills and the tools to be effective on their own. The Financial Literacy Program, it's really a combination of 3 entities working together for a common cause. You have government, education, and business. And if you can get those 3 entities together, it all works out. Our libraries have a prominent role because it really is a center point for many families.
And our tagline is #MoreThanBooks, and we really believe strongly in that. We know that we're creating a strong network for people to be the best they can possibly be in our community.
You get 10 of these for $1. Would you like to pick some out?
We make connections with the parents and the kids and hopefully help them to continue these conversations at home and make them a part of their lives.
I love to come to this program because the children learn so much. I love to come to the library.
In all of our programs, we try to equip children and their families with the knowledge and skills to make them successful and to make our community successful. And an area where we really see it blend well is the teenagers. They work with our mayor through a summer intern program.
They tell me things about, I didn't know who this Mr. FICA was that takes my taxes away. And so they learn about that, and they learn in a very real way what it means to get a paycheck, pay taxes, budget. I know that as a young person, I would have benefited from that.
Many of the participants said that they were ready to go home and change the financial habits that they already had based on what they had learned in this program.
Plano has really been a leader in providing financial education, and it's really inspired us and given us a lot of ideas on ways that we can replicate that across our district.
Our corporate partners realize that sponsoring and investing in this community is a true investment in their future. It creates what I call the upward spiral of prosperity where everybody will benefit. I really like to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors in Waste Management for this award and the opportunity to share this story and hopefully motivate and excite other mayors to do the same. Well, thank you. I would like to thank Waste Management and the U.S. Conference of Mayors for this special award. You know, Mayor Benjamin, Mayor Barnett has the 3 I's that is the tenets of the theme for the past year and this upcoming year: innovation, infrastructure, and inclusion. But as mayors, If we can govern with our own 3 I's, which is governing with intelligence, integrity, and intent, we can be the soul of our city. So find your passion for your city and provide them that Livability Award as well. Thank you very much.
Congratulations for a job well done to Mayor LaRosalie. Congratulations to all mayors who've received this year's City Livability Awards. And thank you to all mayors for developing programs that can be replicated and adopted throughout the U.S. And now, Mayor Benjamin, I turn the program back to you.
Again, let's give a round of applause to all of our winners for the 2019 Livability Award. We want to thank Sourcewell for being a sponsor of our 87th annual meeting, and I want to introduce Tom Pertula, Sourcewell's Director of Cooperative Purchasing Administration. Tom leads Sourcewell's national cooperative initiatives. Together with his team of procurement specialists and contract managers, they administer a portfolio of over 200 cooperative purchasing contracts that are used nationwide by nearly 50,000 city, county, and state governments. Tom has been instrumental in bringing electric vehicles to this purchasing collaborative for cities to take advantage of as our fleets transition to electric. So please, let's welcome Tom.
Thank you, and good afternoon. As Mayor Benjamin said, I'm here representing Sourcewell. First off, as a Minnesota public agency, I would like to thank the Minnesota mayors who recognize the value of attending this event. Mayor Kautz of Burnsville, Mayor Case of Eden Prairie, Mayor Hovland of Edina, as well as Mayor Norton of Rochester, thank you for being here. This is not the normal time in Minnesota that we choose to come to Hawaii, as it is our short season right now for summer. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Sourcewell, we are a national cooperative purchasing agency that provides solutions to cities as they procure the things they need to function. For those of you that attended the Climate Mayors Summit Thursday, you heard from Mayor Garcetti about the Climate Mayors Electric Vehicle Purchasing Collaborative, or as of yesterday, the award-winning Electric Vehicle Purchasing Collaborative. This initiative helps climate mayors transition their fleets to electric using our cooperative purchasing contracts. It's a collaboration between Climate Mayors, Electrification Coalition, and then Sourcewell acting as the procurement arm. Many of you in this room already use cooperative contracts. In fact, all but about 20 of you are current users of Sourcewell contracts. Cooperative purchasing is a modern procurement tool that governments use to supplement traditional procurement by aggregating national demand, the collective buying power of cities everywhere, guarantees lower pricing than typically available to government. Our purchasing contracts are written and administered to meet these requirements of government procurement. These procurements are conducted publicly and guaranteed maximum competition in their marketplace so cities can meet their laws, as well as including buying locally. So through joint powers and cooperative purchasing laws, cooperative contracts are options for cities everywhere. Sourcewell is new to the Business Council, and we appreciate being here. We have nothing but the highest regard for this conference and annual meeting, and we look forward to learning more and getting to know you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Our next speaker has pushed to make the National Endowment for the Arts more accessible to the American people, advancing the Arts Endowment's mission to support artistic excellence and increase access to the arts for all. The Blue Star Museum Program, which we'll be hearing more about from the speaker, will be up next. Acting Chairman Mary Ann Carter has been a loyal and strong supporter of our program, the Mayor's Institute on City Design, our marquee program. As a graduate of the program, I can tell you how much it's helped me and my fellow mayors in understanding the importance of good urban designs in our cities, the importance of contributing to the public realm. So Marianne, thank you for your support. Please join me in welcoming the acting chair of the NEA, Marianne Carter.
Hello. Thank you, Mayor Benjamin. I was told I have 3 minutes, and so I'm just going to take a few seconds. Hopefully everyone in this room has heard about the National Endowment for the Arts. I'm sure most people have, but you may not know what we do, and there was no way in 3 minutes I could explain everything we do, so we're going to show a short video. But I do want to reemphasize what Mayor Benjamin just said. We are so proud of our partnership with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And I have to give a shout out to Tom Cochran and Tom McClyman, who are such great, great partners to work with. And please, if you have a city design challenge, please look into the Mayor's Institute. We would love to have you. There's more information in your registration book about that program and the National Endowment for the Arts. We also have a table with our staff from the National Endowment for the Arts, so feel free to find any of us if you have any questions. Thank you so much and enjoy the video.
The National Endowment for the Arts was created to nurture American creativity, to elevate the nation's culture, and to sustain and preserve the country's many artistic treasures. At its core, the National Endowment for the Arts is a grant-making agency, with more than 80% of its annual budget distributed as grants and awards to arts projects in each of America's 435 congressional districts, including the District of Columbia and America's 5 territories. The National Endowment for the Arts is committed to ensure that every American in every community, in every neighborhood, has access to the arts. Almost 2/3 of its grants go to small and medium-sized organizations, with 40% of its activities taking place in high-poverty neighborhoods and 35% reaching underserved populations, such as veterans, the disabled, and those in rural areas. Over the last half-century, the National Endowment for the Arts has supported epic projects and some of America's most enduring. Its Creative Writing Fellowship program provides grants to promising writers who have, over the years, produced books and poetry that have enriched our lives. Poetry Out Loud, a national program that encourages the study and dynamic presentation of great poetry recited by high school students from across the nation. Its folk and traditional arts funding celebrates and supports art projects that are as creative and diverse as America itself. Our Town, the National Endowment for the Arts signature program that supports partnerships with local artists, arts organizations, and municipal governments, all to improve and revitalize neighborhoods. And its eminently popular Blue Star Museums program, in partnership with Blue Star families in more than 2,000 museums in all 50 states, provides free admission to active duty military personnel and their families. Today, the National Endowment for the Arts continues to move forward as a pioneer, partner, and supporter of innovative and exciting new perspectives on art, such as its Creative Forces Community Connection projects. The National Endowment for the Arts collaborated in the creation of a national program linking returning service members suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder with art that has produced results that are as deeply moving as they are profound in advancing recovery. The National Endowment for the Arts, a legacy of success for all of America.
Thank you, Marianne. It's now my honor to introduce the Second Lady of the United States of America, Mrs. Karen Pence. This is the second time that Mrs. Pence has addressed us. We were fortunate to have her with us a year ago at our winter meeting, where she addressed how the arts can help in the healing process, both mentally and physically. This year, she is with us in her role as the co-chair of the 10th anniversary of the Blue Star Museum program. The Blue Star Museum program encourages museums all across the country and in our cities to open their doors up to military families during the summer. We unanimously passed a resolution in support of this program at our last annual meeting. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the Second Lady of the United States, Mrs. Karen Pence.
Good afternoon. It was so great to have Mary Ann Carter come out right before me because my main initiative I started with that I spoke to you all about before was art therapy. And we partner with the National Endowment of the Arts for Creative Forces. And then yesterday, we spent the day with several military families sharing news about the Blue Star Museum project. So I've just got to tell you, National Endowment of the Arts is doing some great things. Thank you, Mayor Steve Benjamin, for that kind introduction, and thank you for your service. To all the mayors in this room, thank you for your service to our communities and to our country. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you this afternoon. You serve as important partners to our country's success. You're right there on the front lines. And I want you to know that we appreciate the work that you pour into your cities to enhance the quality of life for Americans. Right now, the Trump administration is working diligently to improve the quality of life for our military families. And this is my second initiative, and I'm very grateful that you all asked me to come speak on this today. It's important that we support not only our troops, but their spouses and children who serve also. It should be our top priority to take care of them so that our service members can remain focused on their missions to protect our freedoms. You know, military families hold a special place in my heart. I am a proud Blue Star mom of a Marine, and I'm the daughter of an Air Force airman. I actually was born on a military base, McConnell Air Force Base in Wichita, Kansas. And my father-in-law, Ed Pence, served in the U.S. Army. For the past year, I have had the privilege of traveling the country and really the entire world, encouraging and elevating military families, especially the spouses. We know that military life is not easy. Spouses have shared their stories with me about the difficulties of being hired and the inconsistent professional licensing requirements faced as they move on average every 2 to 3 years. I mean, can you even imagine moving every 2 to 3 years? And according to the Department of Defense, the military spouse unemployment rate stands at 24%. And that just isn't acceptable. You know, military spouses play a significant role in the defense of our nation. They are competent, well-educated, flexible, hardworking, and tremendous assets to our country and our communities. I spent the morning with 300 of them today out at Pearl Harbor, and they are amazing men and women. Employers in your communities who hire these spouses benefit from their tremendous talent and the breadth of their experience. You know, spouses do so much for our nation. They make so many sacrifices without asking for very much in return. They contribute directly to the strength and readiness of our armed forces. A few weeks ago, I spoke at the Defense Community's National Summit in Washington, D.C. Their mission is to create welcoming and supportive spaces for service members and their families to live and thrive, just like all of your communities. As part of their summit in our nation's capital, they announced this year's Great American Defense Communities winners. They are Bay County, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, the North Country, New York, Clovis, New Mexico, and Middle Georgia. And let me tell you why. These communities were selected because they demonstrate a strong commitment to developing local programs dedicated to supporting military spouses and families. They also work closely with military installations to develop these programs. For example, in Columbia, South Carolina, they created the Fort Jackson Spousal Employment Program to address the military spouse employment challenges. Columbia also has a 100-year partnership with Fort Jackson, and the city considers itself the most military-friendly community in America. It's so great. Thank you to Mayor Steve Benjamin for your leadership and support of military families and communities. I don't know where he went. And as I stated, we're working hard to improve the quality of life for military families. And I know that's a little bit of what you're talking about today, livability, which includes creating military spouse employment solutions. Last year, the President signed an executive order to enhance opportunities for military spouses looking for employment in the federal government. And now we are working with American businesses and other organizations to find ways to hire and keep military spouses employed when they relocate. Last month, my office hosted a business summit at the Eisenhower Executive Office building at the White House. And we invited 46 businesses from across the United States to discuss and brainstorm employment opportunities for military spouses. And I'm looking forward to learning about the innovative ideas that came out of those discussions. We'll be meeting again later this year. And as I travel across the United States to raise awareness about military spouse employment challenges, I'm seeing that the momentum is building to address military spouse unemployment. But we could still use your help. Military spouse employment is a very important aspect of a strong and resilient military family. We know that if spouses aren't happy, then service members are going to get out of the military sooner, and we don't want that to happen. We also, though, want to do the right thing and come alongside our spouses. We want them to be fulfilled in their careers. For all of the sacrifices that military spouses make, it is the right thing to come alongside and do everything we can to enable them to work in their chosen field. Imagine if you have your spouse deployed and you're being a single parent and you can't work. It's not that you don't have the qualifications, but you maybe are waiting for licensing to go through, or you're waiting to get the application in, or you need continuing education. And for many of these spouses, by the time they get that completed, they're moving again. But if you have a place to go work, you're talking about livability today, that's purpose. If you have a purpose and a job that you can go to, a career that you can grow in, how much more fulfilled you're going to be. Mental health aspect of it, financial aspect of it. So as the mayor and the top spokesperson for your city's economic growth and development, we hope that you can come alongside us and encourage businesses in your communities to hire more military spouses and to develop programs, creative ways that would allow them to work for a company no matter where they live. We also know that life outside of the workplace is just as important. And that's why I jumped at the opportunity to join First Lady Melania Trump to serve as the honorary co-chair of Blue Star Museums last year. And I'm more than happy to serve again this year. More than 2,000 museums across the United States, in every single state, are participating in Blue Star Museums to thank families for their service and share with them our nation's cultural treasures, which are in all of your communities. Yesterday, I had the honor and privilege of joining Blue Star Families, the Department of Defense, and the National Endowment of the Arts at Pearl Harbor Remembrance Circle. I spoke to the military families that were there also. And then we all took a boat ride to view and pay our respects to the Pearl Harbor USS Arizona, which has been designated as a Blue Star Museum. Last year, I visited another Blue Star Museum, the Tudor Place in Washington, D.C., which is a National Historic Landmark. It was originally the home of Thomas Peter and his wife, Martha Peter, who was the granddaughter of Martha Washington. You know, I think it's great that Blue Star Museums offer active duty service members, Guard and Reserve, and their families a chance to explore the wonderful museums that we have at no charge throughout the entire summer. This annual summer program is a fantastic way for military families to spend time together and create memories. They deserve this precious time as a family. And I know I just heard that you all voted on this last year, and I know that your communities offer many more opportunities for families to spend time together, and I just want to applaud all of you for doing that. To all the mayors, thank you for your support of the Blue Star Museum program. And thank you for welcoming military families into your communities. And we encourage you to find even more creative ways to integrate them into your cities and into our communities. We will never be able to thank our military service members and their families enough for all of the sacrifices that they do and everything they do for this nation. But let's continue to work together to improve the quality of life, the livability for our military families, because they deserve it. Thank you so much for all of the sacrifices you all make. I just want to applaud you for all coming together. I was talking to Jim Brainerd from Carmel, Indiana beforehand, and we talked about how important it is to come together as mayors and share ideas and get excited and not feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. And I just want to say personally, thank you for allowing me to address you on my second initiative, just like you let me come and address you on art therapy before. So I appreciate everything that you do. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you. As Mrs. Pence mentioned, we are home to Fort Jackson, the Army's largest training base in the world, and we are proud to be a military-friendly community and so thankful for her leadership on helping military families. Help me again in thanking Second Lady Pence. Nationwide has been a valued platinum partner of the United States Conference of Mayors for more than 35 years. And we're very proud of our relationship with them. Nationwide provides retirement plan services for our cities and our employees through its 457B deferred compensation plans. As many of you know, Nationwide is the market leader in the 457B industry and has a commitment to helping your employees plan for and live well in retirement. We're excited to partner with the largest and most innovative company in the industry. To tell us more about Nationwide is Rob Bello. Rob is the National Sales Director, Institutional Retirement Sales at Nationwide. Please join me in welcoming Rob to the stage.
Thank you, Mayor Benjamin. So honored and privileged to be here this morning and today, and as a note of that, I wanted to just take a moment from this morning's session and first of all actually prove that I was in the session and not out on the beach, and secondly share with you of the many things that I learned, one of them that was critically important, so much so that I've already shared with my significant other, Julie, and that is if I'm being incredibly difficult, can't find my keys, being just a general pain in the morning getting ready, she has full permission to call me a man baby, which is a term I now can credit forevermore to Mayor Benjamin. I really appreciate that, and got a great laugh out of that this morning, so thank you, Mayor Benjamin. As Mayor Benjamin mentioned, we are so proud at Nationwide to have had this long-standing relationship with the United States Conference of Mayors, and I myself personally have been a Nationwide veteran for over 24 years. In my current role, I'm very privileged to lead a team that pursues new business opportunities all across the country, including, luckily enough, right here in the state of Hawaii. And as we're looking for new cities and municipalities to partner with, we often start with our partnership with the United States Conference of Mayors. It signifies the importance of our relationship with all of you and your staff and your employees back home, and it gives us that immediate credibility to share with those prospective cities things about Nationwide that we think are very critical. Now, we often find in those conversations that many leaders of those cities and municipalities first and foremost think of Nationwide as a large insurance company. And as a matter of fact, we are a very large company. We're number 73 on the Fortune 500 list. However, we're much more than just an insurance company, and we are in fact a leading provider of retirement plan services. And if you've seen our ads, especially those featuring Peyton Manning and Brad Paisley, where they're on the RV and they're working on new scripts to songs, they're often talking about retirement plan services. And that's very indicative of the fact that it's a leading driver of our business and where we're placing tremendous emphasis and resources going forward as a company. What that means to all of you is if you bring us in and talk to us in your cities, you're going to get a leading market provider, one that's fortunate enough to work with over 4,100 of your cities and municipalities currently today, a leader by any measure, and one that is constantly innovating, as Mayor Benjamin said, and investing in the business to continue to grow into the future. We take our role very seriously of helping city employees all across this country prepare for and live in a better retirement. As a matter of fact, we're very proud to share with you, I'm very proud to share with you today on behalf of all of us here from Nationwide, that J.D. Power, a leading consumer advocacy group, one that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, just like myself, from their ratings of cars in the automotive industry, they also rate retirement plan providers. And of all the retirement plan providers in the country, based on feedback from participants, Nationwide was the only retirement services organization to rank in the top 3 in all 3 of their categories. So whether you're a leader of a small, medium, or large-sized city, and you want to place importance on what your employees are receiving in terms of helping them prepare for retirement, it would behoove you to take a look at Nationwide, and we will, on behalf of the United States Conference of Mayors, honor that opportunity and come and talk with you about the services that we provide, especially those around participant fees. We were rated very high, communication, and technology. Each of those things are critically important to helping your retirement plan participants and your employees get better prepared for retirement, and we're proud to be able to bring those services to you through the United States Conference of Mayors. So again, thank you for a wonderful opportunity to partner with you all of these years, to be part of this conference. On behalf of the 4 of us that had to come out and take place working this conference, we want you to know it was really tough duty, but we were proud to do it and be here. And we look forward to spending the next couple of days with you as well. Thank you very much.
Stan Deal is the president and CEO of Boeing Global Services. Stan was named this position in November of 2016 when Boeing announced the establishment of Boeing Global Services as the 3rd business unit of the company, operating alongside commercial and defense. Stan oversaw the formal stand-up of Global Services and led its transition to a fully operational business on July 1st, 2017. He's been with Boeing for 33 years and joins us today to talk about Boeing's impact to communities where we live and work. He'll also share his thoughts on how an organization can continue to grow and realize new opportunities even when faced with significant challenges. Please welcome Stan Deal.
All right, well, mahalo, Mayor Benjamin, and aloha to all of you. It's absolutely great to be here with you today. And it's my privilege to represent Boeing and talk about your communities. At Boeing, corporate citizenship is one of those enduring values we have. Creating positions to change your communities through charitable giving, volunteering, investments, and our employee engagement is really a fundamental part of who we are. Today, I'd like to tell you about Boeing, what it means to you, and then move into some lessons recently we've had to learn. And I think those lessons could help you through some leadership challenges. So with that, let's get started. And right off the bat, I'd like to share where we stand on the 737 MAX, because safety is the #1 priority at the Boeing company. First of all, I can't begin to express the devastation of those two accidents, both the Ethiopian Flight 302 and Lion Air Flight 610. The tragedies, really, we mourn each and every person that lost their lives, and it affects us deeply at Boeing, and it weighs heavily on our hearts as we move forward. People put trust in who we are, and we carry out critical missions that have people put their safety in our hands every day. Today, we're working tirelessly with the regulatory agencies around the world to make the necessary changes and ensure the safe return of the MAX. And we also know we must re-earn the trust of the public, our employees, and the customers who fly our great airplanes, and also to work harder to earn the trust within the communities as we move forward. We are committed to do this. At Boeing, we know lives depend on the work we do, and our employees embrace that with a deep sense of commitment that I've never seen before, and it's inspiring what they do each and every day. In all 50 states, we're more than 130,000 employees strong. We're proud, we're a diverse workforce, and we bring unique perspectives and backgrounds to help innovate and perform and lead. We also support about 1.3 million U.S. supplier-led jobs. So we're a big part of the U.S.'s $86 billion a year favorable trade balance that aerospace sector injects into the U.S. economy. The United States is where we're founded, it's where we're headquartered, and it's where we have an overwhelming majority of our manufacturing base. We have major operations in Alabama, Arizona, California, Missouri, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Texas, and in my home corporate headquarters with Mayor Harry, Plano, Texas, and the great state of Washington. And in addition, we have employees and work in all 50 states. Right here in Hawaii, we work with more than 20 local businesses to create jobs and economic opportunity. We've infused about $2.3 million annually into the local economy right here through our suppliers, our vendors, and the purchases we do to take advantage of the benefit Hawaii has to offer. We have 100 employees in the state and more than 400 retirees. Now, each and every year in communities across the globe, Boeing is stepping up and giving back. Last year, Boeing and our employees invested $280 million in countless volunteer hours to help build the better communities worldwide. We've particularly focused on STEM, education programs, workforce development, and military and veteran support. Whether you're talking about communities or companies like Boeing, strong value-based leadership is necessary to navigate confidently through the good times and the challenges like we've had with the MAX accidents. We've certainly been challenged recently, but we'll persevere for our employees, our customers, and our communities. At Boeing, safety is our highest priority. As we design, we build, support all of our airplanes around the globe, we consider our Boeing enduring values of quality, safety, integrity, among others, integral to all of our work. Our values are at the very core of everything we do, and they drive the behaviors. I'd like to briefly share 4 of those key behaviors with you. First, it's important to communicate clearly and openly. In the months since the recent events, we've spent more time with our teams, traveling frequently and meeting with our employees from all areas of Boeing, and it's important that the people's concerns are heard and their questions are answered. In times like these, it's not possible to over-communicate. We've reached out to our entire customer community, partners and suppliers, in way of personal meetings, in way of communication, and we've been active in ensuring that we're stepping up to our responsibilities. Second, it's the focus on all of our leaders to invest in our teams and empower each other. As we continue to closely work with our airline customers and our global regulators to return the 737 MAX to service, Boeing's leadership is focused on making the adjustments necessary to allow our teams to prioritize additional resources and focus on the recovery efforts. From the days immediately following the Lion Air accident, our top engineers, technical experts, have all been working tirelessly to collaborate with the FAA and world regulators to ensure our final changes are made and return the MAX safely to service. Third, we must deliver on excellence. In all that we do, our customers rely on us to deliver on our promises, whether we're optimizing their fleet performance or we're innovating a solution in the toughest issues that they face. We have to make a difference. And now, more than ever, we remain focused on first-time quality and execution for our customers. Finally, it's about building lasting relationships based on trust and integrity. We know every person who steps on board of our airplanes places their trust with us. We'll do everything possible to earn and re-earn that trust and confidence from our airline customers and you, the flying public. We're working closely with our customers to answer their questions, get feedback, and to ensure those who operate our airplanes are prepared when the ungrounding is lifted and returned to flight. In closing, when I started at this company more than 3 decades ago, our amazing people inspired me, and I see how their dedicated ways of working and their extraordinary talents continue to solve the world's tough challenges. It's a shared sense of responsibility for safety of flight that spans and binds us all together. In these challenging times, I'm even more confident in our team and our customers will stay true to their values and come through even stronger in the end. I hope all of you here today feel inspired and empowered to face even the most difficult challenges in your communities. With commitment and continuous improvement, we can all be better. At Boeing, we are committed to connect, to protect, and to explore and inspire the next generation with all of you in the communities and to create those future leaders who will come and participate in our great communities. Mahalo.
Thank you, Stan. In Boston last year, I announced one of the first initiatives under my presidency that it would be a Smart Cities Institute modeled after our Mayor's Institute on City Design program. Since then, our Conference of Mayors has partnered with NYU's Robert F. Wagner Graduate School of Public Service, the only public policy school in the entire country named after a mayor. and has since hosted 2 classes of participants. I'd like now to invite my friend, the mayor of Dayton, Nan Whaley, and Neil Kleiman, the urban policy professor at NYU, for a discussion on the Mayor's Leadership Institute on Smart Cities, to talk about the work we started and where we're going next. It's very bright, very warm, and you've brightened the place up even more.
Oh, listen to you. This is the kind of humor you get at the Smart Cities Institute, by the way, so you'll have to join us.
So, Mayor Whaley, you went through our very first institute last December, the first class. Tell us a little bit about your project and what the experience was like.
Well, it was a great experience to sit with 10 of my favorite mayor friends, right? Mayor Benjamin, you were there, and really talk about different issues, about specific issues in our community. And so for me, when we talk about smart cities, I worry a lot and think a lot about equity and what we can do to make sure that we're reaching using technology to reach to people that we really have a hard time getting to, and balancing that so we can really connect to folks that we normally don't get to connect to.
Sure, fantastic. So, Professor, smart cities is a buzzword that frankly everyone finds a bit overwhelming. The space is dominated by obviously private sector partners, vendors, rapidly changing approaches, new technology. Could you talk a little bit about how the Institute is helping mayors take control of this kind of crowded environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's often said that being a mayor is like drinking out of a fire hose. But this is not a fire hose of crisis. When you talk about data and technology, it's a fire hose of opportunities. I mean, you just look outside this hall, and it's lined with vendors that have so many technologies and platforms that you can take advantage of that are wondrous and exciting for cities, but it's bewildering to know which ones to use, how to move forward with data and technology efforts. And I have to say, as an urban policy professor, I don't know of one city in America that is fully executed on a smart cities plan. There just aren't clear standards. We've been talking about coding in some of the breakout sessions. We've gotten a little in the weeds here at the conference. There's even definitions of what a smart city means, and it's certainly not something that you can make sense of in an hour-and-a-half breakout session, which is why we're so proud at NYU to have established the Smart Cities Institute with you, Mayor Benjamin, and with the US Conference. And we have 3 days in which we work together as peers. It's just a handful of mayors, about 10 or 12 that come every 6 months, and then experts from around the country. And if there's one criteria when we meet, and I'm kind of looking at the 2 of you participating, it's brutal honesty. And it's honesty about what are the costs of really advancing data and technology, who are the vendors that make the most sense, and then how can you really engage residents in a way that they're not put off in terms of privacy and confidentiality issues, but they're actually supportive of where the city is going.
So given what Neil just talked about, man, how did that help you level set and develop a better understanding of the basics of smart cities?
Well, I think for a mid-sized city like me, it was, okay, this is really expensive. That's what you think of with smart cities, really expensive technology that I necessarily can't afford for my community. And I think what the work that was done is recognizing that these are tools and coming with your question and seeing if there's technology to answer it. Instead of just using a tool because it is there, making sure that you're using the tools to help the real problem that you have. And I think that's the best, lesson that I learned at the summit. And then taking that back to my community, we were able to do a Smart City Summit during Startup Week in the city of Dayton because I had this session, and had folks come and discuss more deeply in our community. And in August, kind of connecting smart cities and South by Southwest work, to have Jake and Stuart come to Dayton and talk about the future of our city in a smart city, in a smart community. So this kind of work makes people like I'm no Cabaldan when it comes to technology and I'm no mayor of the future, right, Mayor Benjamin? But this made it comfortable for me to get more comfortable around smart city technology, and I think that's really, really important. Because, Cabalden was there and was way smarter than me as usual, right? Yeah.
Cabalden is name checked for the first time today. All right. So Neil, based on Nan's answer, tell us a little bit about the Institute's approaches to teaching the basics. How are we, what does the day look like at the Institute?
The Institute is a bit like a clinic, right? It's a bit like school, it's a bit like a clinic, and then I'm kind of thinking of Mayor Whaley, who's very opportunity driven, very tactical, and then thinking of Mayor Cabalden in West Sacramento, and he's very visionary. And if I were to say there are two things at the
Institute... It's two for Cabalden.
Two, just he gets them both.
The future in smart cities.
So we try at the Institute for 3 days at New York University to hit both, right? So it's about vision and it's about tactics. So we start with the big picture. So we have 10 or 12 mayors and we match them almost one-on-one with experts from around the country. And usually these are data officers who have worked or are currently working in places like LA, Chicago, New York City, and they go through what a smart city is, what it isn't, what are the possibilities, what are the challenges that we still face, and we kind of slowly move into what's a vision for the whole city. Then we get tactical. And in terms of being tactical, it's very reminiscent of the Mayor's Institute for City Design, right? You come with an initiative. So it's not just about learning about smart cities or having that vision. You have to come with a big hunkin' initiative that you want to see take place in your city. So at the last one, you two weren't there, but we had a great experience working with Macon, Georgia to crowdsource getting residents to be a part of street cleanup and litter removal through mobile apps. We've also talked, I think, with 3 different cities, including in our class, about using apps to mitigate traffic issues. And I see Mayor Perkins from Shreveport, and we talked about universal broadband as well. There were a couple, also the mayor from Pittsburgh, Peduto, was similarly focused on that issue. So we really get specific about the initiative, and we use that as a focusing mechanism to understand what are the operations implications, right? And so, and it's not just the experts I want to stress, and I know you can attest to this, there's a lot of peer-to-peer coaching amongst the mayors in terms of how do you get to a revenue model that makes sense? How can this generate new revenue? What are the systems and software and hardware that you need to purchase? And I think most importantly, it's about leadership, right? Because there are a lot of these other smart cities convenings, but they tend to be pitched at chief data officers or innovation officers or agency commissioners. This is about the mayors. So it's about what does it take to step up and to lead and to really garner support from staff and from residents to support these initiatives. And the last thing I would say, and I'm curious if you got this too, it's about how to use data and technology to support other major initiatives in the city, like procurement and budget reform, transparency, getting more resident engagement. If I can add just one more thing, just as a quick advertisement, because we only have 12 slots, right? And I know our sponsors are here, Verizon, I'm not sure where they are in the Klieg Lights, Parsons, and then the Knight Foundation are supporting this effort with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, so the travel and related costs are covered. So we would love to have you come to New York City, but the slots fill up. So you have on your seat, if you haven't sat in it already, a handy postcard that tells you about the Institute, and we have the next 2 dates picked out, November 13th through the 15th, and May 6th through 8th. And David Burns, is he here? There's David. So David will be your man to tell him you're interested, to make sure that we have a slot, or come find me, or come send him an email on the postcard, because we want to get at this work together and make sense of it amongst mayors in terms of what smart cities really means.
I just want to commend you, Mayor Benjamin, for your leadership on this. You know, to create a Smart Cities Institute and put it together and figure out how it's funded. We haven't had something like this at the conference that was built in a very long time, really since Joe Riley and MICD. And so I just want to say thank you, because you saw the opportunity and that we needed to do work on this, and your leadership on this is making this happen. So I really appreciate you.
And Neil actually took all of my closing points, so it's not a whole lot to add other than to say thank you to both of you but really we came out with a vision. Really, so many of us have been through MICD and seen the value it's added to this organization over the last 30 years. To want to do something like this around smart cities, it's one thing to have an idea, it's another thing to actually execute. And I really want to give Tom Cochran, Tom McClyman, David Burns, our incredible team. We almost left Boston immediately and went to NYU and sat down with the team there and pulled together something that's not only about smart cities, but it's about the mayors. It's about helping our mayors. We have so many different challenges, so many similar challenges in our cities, but each of our citizens and cities have different singular issues, and being able to try and develop a precise approach to helping solve those issues using the power of data and technology, harnessing that energy to solve these problems. It's and humanizing that data as well. It's so important, and I'm excited that we've gotten to this point. I would be remiss if I did not repeat at least what Neil said about the role that Verizon, that's Parsons, and the Knight Foundation have played in helping make this available to our colleagues. It's not just a P3, it's actually a P4 if you know in the role of philanthropy. This is so important and amazing, and I want to thank them so much for their support. This is going to be a lasting program. We're going to watch it grow and grow and grow, and I'm going to be a nice old man, former mayor, and I want to come back and see exactly the difference it's made in America's cities. Mayors, sign up. This is a value add. This is a value add from the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and take advantage of this wonderful program. Godspeed. All right. So today we're honored to host Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike, a pioneering woman in Japanese politics. The governor was elected the first female head of Tokyo metropolitan government in 2016, leading the capital city of Japan with a population of 9.2 million people. Next year, Tokyo will be the host city for the 2020 Summer Olympics. Prior to her election, she served in Japan's legislature, the National Diet, for more than 24 years, rising through the male-dominated leadership to serve as Minister of the Environment, Minister of State for Okinawa and Northern Territory Affairs, Special Advisor to the Prime Minister for National Security Affairs. As the first woman to serve as the Minister of Defense and the Governor of Tokyo, she's paving the way for women to be more active in society. Please join me in welcoming the Governor of Tokyo, Yuriko Koike.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you very much for such a nice introduction, Mayor Benjamin. Now, I'd like to thank Mayor Caldwell of Honolulu for inviting me to this conference. Also, the mayor of Chigasaki was invited here. Thank you. City of Chigasaki is famous for good waves for surfers. And it's a great pleasure for me to see so many mayors from across the United States. Tokyo has long had strong ties with many cities in the United States. It was back in 1912 that Tokyo gifted cherry trees to Washington, D.C., and many times since then, the cherry blossom has been a source of deeper mutual understanding and friendship with the United States. In 1960, we formed sister city relationship with New York, cultivating a friendship that has lasted nearly 60 years. And just last year, we agreed to pursue mutual cooperation with Los Angeles, with Mayor Garcetti, as the city is hosting the 2020 and 2028 Olympics and Paralympics. Since becoming the first female governor of Tokyo in 2016, thank you. I have pursued major reforms for the city. I have sought to create a new Tokyo from the standpoint of putting the interest of citizens first. This new Tokyo is 3 cities in one: a safe city, a diverse city, and a smart city. We in turn have set 3 central pillars to achieve this. First, urban resilience to natural disaster and climate change. Second, sustainable development of Tokyo's earning, economic, and financial potential. And third, connections between people. We are committed to maximizing the potential of our people who are the driving force for the city's advancement. The Olympic and Paralympic Games, Tokyo 2020, are just about 1 year away, and we are now entering the final preparations stages. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government is building 6 new permanent facilities for this event. Of this, work has been completed at 3 sites, including the new Sea Forest Waterway, which will be the venue for the rowing and canoe event. We have just begun conducting full-fledged trials at facilities for the Games. Don't forget as well that Tokyo will also host the Rugby World Cup 2019 this year from September 20. Not only will this be a wonderful chance to welcome sports fans to Japan, it will also provide valuable experience ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Games in terms of smooth operations and the safety and security of everyone attending. We are envisioning the Tokyo 2020 Games as the Recovery Olympic and Paralympics. And I would like to once more express gratitude for the support Japan received following the 2011 earthquake and tsunami in northern Japan. And at the same time, to encourage you to see for yourselves what progress has been made in the disaster areas. The start of the Olympic torch relay and the first Olympic events will both be in Fukushima Prefecture, which was one of the affected areas. We are also planning to use zero-emission hydrogen produced in Fukushima at the Olympic Village. In this way, we are taking advantage of the Tokyo 2020 Games to show the world a model for a sustainable society. One example is our medal project. This was an effort to make use of our urban minds of mobile phones and usher mobile phones and other small electric devices in order to produce the approximately 5,000 medals that will be presented to the athletes. We even received a donation from the U.S. Cherry Blossom Queen. And this investment, you will get rewarded after the wonderful achievement that the U.S. athletes will be done. Now, we will announce the medal design next month, so I hope you will all take a look at it. Tokyo is the first city in the world to host a Summer Paralympics for the second time. The Paralympics are also a major event that will determine the success of the Tokyo 2020 Games. The preparations for the Paralympics are important for creating a barrier-free society easily accessible to everyone, with venues incorporating pictograms and multi-language signage, as well as other accessibility features. Tokyo is also working to remove steps and other great differences in public spaces, and is the first city in Japan to issue an ordinance mandating barrier-free guest rooms in lodging facilities. To help ensure the success of the Paralympics and promote greater accessibility, we hosted our first meeting of academics, para-athletes, and dignitaries from various fields. We will be working together to ensure full attendance at Paralympic events, as well as to identify and remove all sorts of barriers from Tokyo and realize our vision of diversity and the concept of inclusiveness. One very successful campaign I launched back while I was an environment minister was called Cool Biz, to advocate businessmen who put a heavy warrior, to take off ties and jacket. It was to promote more casual wear in the summer so that we could use less air conditioning. I'm glad to report that Hawaiian shirts were very popular with some staff. Now, thank you. Now, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government had launched the Smooth Biz campaign, another cool type of cool biz. This Smooth Biz campaign ahead of the Games. This campaign is a series of measures aimed at establishing new working styles, including telework and staggered work times, as well as the management of transportation systems to curb and distribute traffic volume. We expect that these measures will encourage more people to join the workforce and lead to longer-term improvements in workplace productivity. The legacy of the 1964 Tokyo Olympics was one of the urban infrastructure, such as Tokyo Metropolitan Expressway and world-famous Shinkansen railway network. I'd like the legacy of the Games to be something more intangible, but no less important for the future. And it is my sincere hope that you will be able to come to Tokyo in 2020 and enjoy the Olympic Games. Also, please come to experience Tokyo's unique blend of the traditional and innovative. We take pride in the city's many attractive, unique venues that embody this blend, including our temples, gardens, museums, and galleries. And I hope to utilize the Tokyo 2020 game as a springboard toward a new era that will last long after the Games, in which Tokyo to be a model for sustainable urban development in Japan and the world. And I would like to add one more thing. I was very much impressed by Ambassador Caroline Kennedy's speech in the morning. And her achievement was so enormous in Japan. And her presence encouraged Japanese women, including myself. So thank you very much for your attention, and we all hope that the 2020 Olympic Games and Paralympics be successful, and also the games should be done under the peaceful condition only. So to make peace, I hope that the alliance in between Japan and U.S. lasts for never lasting. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Please join me again in thanking the governor for traveling to be with us in Honolulu as she continues to shatter glass ceilings. on a global level. Before we conclude, I want to remind mayors that there's an exclusive trip happening later today. Mayors are going to have a first-hand look at the various sites and memorials in and around Pearl Harbor to pay a special tribute to the fallen heroes at the Arizona Memorial. That event is for mayors only. Motor coaches are going to leave the Tapa Tower promptly at 4:30 p.m. And this is like real, like 4:30 p.m., not mayor's 4:30 p.m., okay, guys? So you got to be on time. We're going into a secure military area, and we all must arrive together. So there'll be no personal vehicles allowed. So 4:30 p.m. we will depart from the Tapa Tower. Following a special excursion, mayors will continue on to the USS Missouri for the USCM evening event. For all the other attendees, the buses will be leaving promptly at 5:30 p.m. Again, this is a special opportunity arranged by Mayor Caldwell, and all our guests must also arrive via bus, no personal vehicles. So 4:30 p.m., we leave. 5:30 p.m., we leave. We need you to be there on time, and we're going to have a great time tonight, paying our respects to the men and women who gave their lives in defense of the greatest democratic nation in the history of the world. We are adjourned. Thank you so much.